Hey everyone, we are so excited to be back once again to get together and talk about real woman issues that concern friends, wives, mothers, educators, and entrepreneurs. I cannot wait to start the show, so let's get going.
Okay, for this special edition of Sweet Tea and Sunshine, our spotlight topic is going to be friend fix. What's the big deal? I know that y'all are probably wondering, like, where did the idea of friend fix come from? What's the point? You know, I'm not out looking for friends, and I don't want to be, just friending strangers. But the whole premise.
Hold on, because we are outside of Dr. Bombay, so you guys are going to hear cars going by. You may hear people talking besides us, but that's okay. Zoom in on what we have to say because it's important.
So we came to this realization that friend fixes are important, just as we had started reflecting on our lives after we became moms.
Right.
So we both have 2 children. And one day we just started talking. This was before the podcast. We were talking and we realized, oh my goodness, it took a little bit of a transition before we reclaimed our identity. I guess that's the way you
almost like getting your groove back, I think.
Right.
Well, our kids, are they the same amount apart?
I think we discovered that they're the same distance apart.
Right. And I think I was thinking, like, even now, I can't even remember, like, those years. I can't remember.
It's a blur.
I remember when Professor was a baby. Then once I had Missy, those years were a blur with them 2.
You're absolutely right.
Up until she was about 3.
Yes. And that's so funny because we haven't even spoken about this aspect about it until like right now. I agree. I remember when Ave was younger and born and all that I went through with breastfeeding and pumping and being, trying to be everything that my child needed me to be.
Right.
And then when B was born, I just remember trying to make it. Just praying that A had become potty trained before she, got here. And, it was just a big blur. And I remember going through this big identity crisis.
Yeah.
Sharifa,
and I remember,
it was horrible.
I think I sent a picture of you at something.
You saw it at my house.
Oh, no, a picture. I'm talking about me. It was a picture of our family.
Oh, yeah, you sent it to me. That's right.
And World Famous had Missy in a little
carrier
in the front of his chest, and then Professor, he was a little thing, like I'm holding his hand, and the look on our faces, it looked like, what the heck
are we doing?
Is this?
Yeah, what are we doing? What are we pretending like we know how to do?
Yeah, it was
we have that same, pretty much the identical type of picture, because after you sent it to me, you came to the house and you're like, wait, there's your confused picture, your confused parenthood picture.
And y'all's was like a posed picture.
It was, but it was
like, ooh.
You could see it in our faces that we were faking it.
To get by or trying to figure it out.
Yes.
I don't even have it figured out now, so it's not that part. I think it was just, I don't think that I was very happy.
Right. I can agree with you. And, we try to be super transparent on the podcast, and yes, parenthood is great. Yay.
Right.
But one thing that we talked about is postpartum is real.
Right.
It's not discussed a lot in our community, or just in general, I think. I think a lot of people just don't realize that it's real. They think that it's just a bad attitude.
Right.
You're
and
really
John
going
Legend's wife, C. Tegan, did a long post about postpartum depression.
Yeah. So we'll go in. I want to do a specific podcast for that issue.
Right.
But I just started sharing with Sharifa how I knew that I had lost my identity. Let me tell you what was going through my mind. So anybody that knows me pre-babies knows that I'm pretty much fun person, upbeat. I like to have fun. And I think I became non-fun. I know that I didn't know if I could still be that person and have kids. Can I still be goofy? Can I still be silly? Can I still be like full of life, or do I have to turn into this matronly, motherly someone? Can I wear my skinny jeans with my big butt showing because I have daughters, or do I need to cover it completely up? Or, you know, like I went through all kinds of identity crisis. It's so funny. My husband that doctor had to like shake me one time, girl. He was like, you are a grown woman with a career. Why are you buying clothes from Rue 21? So, and that's the joke now.
I have some pieces from Rue 21.
Now, there are nice, but we are...
they're not nice. I'm just going to wear them once or something.
It's a teeny bopper store, though.
Yeah.
And that was his...
And that was your...
I thought that was me refining who I was. Like, I thought that was me becoming trendy. I thought that was me, you know, figuring out my style and being cute.
Yeah. I get it.
They had a lot of, you know, they had things that were on trend, and I felt like I had lost it after I became a mom. So I'm like, okay, I'll just go get a couple of these pieces and it'll be cute enough or whatever. Or I'll get some jeans. And my husband's like, you are a working career woman. Why are you buying $10 jeans?
Now, did you take that as like him hating on your style, or did
no?
You take
because
that as...
I feel like that doctor has a very good sense of style.
Yeah.
So I felt like he was being helpful, but I kept purchasing because I didn't have any other ideas.
Okay.
So, you know, I was just going through trying to figure out who I was supposed to be as a mama.
Right.
What about you? Did you go through any type of transition like that?
I'm thinking it was more of like who my body belongs to. It wasn't necessarily about style, because I think when I look at the pictures, I'm like, I was on trend with whatever was going on back then. It wasn't cute anyway. So, but you know, styles change, things change. But I think it was more
We'll post pictures and let y'all be the judge of that.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, a lot of those pieces I still have, so it's not...
I do too.
Yeah, it's not I wasn't way off. But I just remember being like, and I want to travel, I love to be a free spirit, and you have to think about 2 other mouths and how they're going to get fed, breastfed or spoon-fed.
Storing up
milk. Yeah, and packing up their bags, what
they
need. And I remember me and World Famous were very efficient, very, very efficient at baby parenting. We had it on lock. Traveling with babies was our thing. Like, we were very, very good at that. But in my mind, I was like, I just want to be able to get away. I just want to go. I don't want to be here. I just want to get away. I want to get away. I want to get away. Because I felt like my body would be my own. And I could go where I want. I could eat what I want. I'm not looking at nobody else and trying to figure out what they need. Like, it was just, I felt like I was just chained.
Yes.
And that pump, listening to the pump, I can't even stand the sound of that now, because I connect that to being walled.
It brings, and it does. And so with my second baby, I was unable to nurse for the whole year. I had done that with A, but I couldn't do that with B because B was just too greedy. And I remember going through such sadness because I couldn't continue. And that doctor, Lord, his logical self was like, just think of how free you're going to be now. And I was like, it doesn't matter. I'm just letting my kids down. Blah, blah, blah. And girl, I promise you, the day after I stopped, I just felt this big weight lifted off my shoulders. And I felt that way after after the year, but I had forgotten that. Again, I didn't feel like my body was my own, so who am I to deny you being able to nurse for me? But I mean, hindsight is 20/20, and I try so hard to help my friends who are, you know, first time moms understand that. Don't let that expectation that you have of yourself, or that the world has put on on you, or don't let that expectation get you down, because it's really going to be all right.
Right. And the term that I hate, and I know there's lots of other issues out there with women, but we are talking about, you know, us because we have children. Whenever I hear, I love being a mom, but why do you feel like you have to precurse it with I love being a mom? Everyone knows that you should love being a mom. There's no woman in this world who would not love being a mother, and if they don't, they're not going to say. So I just feel like that's a warning sign when you say stuff like, don't get me wrong, like, it's great. There really are some other issues that you probably are going to need to address.
Right.
And don't cover it up with saying how much you love being a mother. Get real and say what the issues are.
Exactly.
And I know as a friend, I'm never going to think like, oh, she hates her children.
No, the reality is it's tough.
Right.
Doggone it. Like, let's
tough.
quit pretending like it's just all roses and stinking kittens. It's not.
Right.
Some days our kids get on our nerves. Some days we feel guilty because we're away from them at work, because we're career women.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's some days that we want to just go somewhere and we can't do it at our will because we are responsible for other kids. So, I mean, for our kids. And so it's tough.
Yeah. And one thing that I know that I did not do, and I'm so happy, I'm so grateful for it, is that I never neglected my friends because I had kids. I never did that. I never said, oh no, I can't go. You know, I have these kids. I can't. I never did that. And I always tell my friends who are pregnant, don't do that. Don't neglect what you need, the connections that you have because you have kids. If those women don't have kids, it's fine to still have relationships with them.
Oh yeah,
you don't have to cut off all your people and make your world about you and the babies and play dates and all that, because it's different from a real friend fix. A play date is not a friend fix.
It's not, because you're still paying attention to your kiddos.
Mm-hmm.
So
and don't bring your kids to friend fix either.
No. We already talked about bringing them to the spa. We already talked about bringing them to the nail shop now. Don't make us. Now, we ain't trying to hurt nobody's feelings.
It's not.
You don't get a true friend fix with your children in the room. That is something that we have driven home throughout this podcast. So it's funny that you say that, because I was not you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I did go through a transitional period where I don't think I cut my friends off, because they came to see me and they hung out at the house with me.
Yeah.
But we weren't necessarily going out and doing things.
Right.
So again, losing of that identity.
Mm-hmm.
I already spoke about how I didn't know how to dress and carry myself.
But you didn't even have a reason to go out then at that point. Because if everyone's coming over to your house, why would you even need to
But what did we just
be
say?
Trendy?
If you're with your... Well, I still went places with my husband and stuff like
you did.
that.
Some people don't do that either.
Oh yeah, no, we did stuff. We're talking about friends. I neglected going out with friends.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and we just said that when you're with your kids, it's not a real friend fit. So my baby is there, but she's nursing, or it's just not the same.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I have to shout out Angel, my sister-in-law, because there is this big awakening that happens.
Right, and I think that doctor mentioned it on the last episode.
He did briefly.
Yeah. So tell us about that.
So there's an awakening, and at the time it was not defined as a friend fix, because it was me and my sister-in-law. And yes, she is one of my very closest friends, and she's one of my closest friends, and I love her to death. But it was with a group of her friends.
Okay.
I didn't know them. I had heard, college stories about them, and so I knew stories that went along with the people, but I had never met the people.
Oh my God.
So she invited me to go on a bachelorette weekend in Miami with her.
Fun.
And I'm like, girl, I don't know if your brother gonna like that. And she was like, oh, let me talk to him. And she, Lord have mercy, you have to know her. She has a super dry sense of humor. And so I'm not trying to offend anybody by what I'm going to repeat to you that she said. It's just the reality of the type of person she is. She had a conversation with him, and she said at that time that tragic story about the lady drowning her own kids had happened. I think it happened in Florida.
Yeah.
And she said, you see, mamas are going crazy all over this world.
Right.
She said, don't let Keisha be the person that's going out to try to drown your kids, because she has been locked in this house and not having, time out with her friends. And I was like, oh, you said that? I would never do anything like that.
Right.
And she was like, that's not the point. He needs to understand that you still need that time away.
Yeah.
And it's not that he wasn't giving me that option. It's not like I just never
you
took.
You weren't taking it.
Exactly.
Either.
I never brought it up. I never suggested. I never said I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I just didn't do it.
Right.
So, y'all, I went to Miami with this group of women I did not